Guys, today I want to talk about a very serious topic that I think is very pertinent to talk about and demystify in relation to amputations. My name is Mário Soares. I'm an orthopedic surgeon specializing in the hip and knee and also in orthopedic infection. Today I want to tell you something that might scare you on the other side. Most people, we have a very strong Latin culture, but a message that I want to pass on to you, amputation, is not the failure of treatment. It's not the worst thing that could have happened. It's not that everything went wrong and ended in amputation. I think it's very interesting to talk about this aspect, to demystify it, because many patients don't accept amputation, and that most of the time when it's indicated, it's because it's the best option for that case. Obviously, we're not happy to have this kind of surgery. But that's the thing. In the personalization we make of each case, when we understand the patient, we see the viability of the treatments, right? Which we've already discussed here in other videos. It's not uncommon for us to arrive and look, so-and-so. For your case here, what's going to solve your life? What's going to save your life from a generalized infection? What's going to restore your quality of life? What's going to allow you to have a social life, return to your job, return to your family, to be able to drive, to be able to walk, is sometimes to speak with all the honesty in the world, looking him right in the eye and saying, look, for your case, the best thing is to do a well-done amputation, which will allow you to resume all aspects of your life. And it makes me sad because sometimes I see colleagues who don't say that to the patient. The doctor himself feels defeated. He feels like, well, there's nothing else to do, man. Do an amputation surgery, a procedure like that, so old, so aggressive, rip a piece out of the person. People, it's not like that. Nobody's going to do that, right? Just for the sake of doing it, or nobody's going to do it, right? Out of spite or because, there's nothing else to do. It's the opposite. When we recommend amputation, it's because there's no other treatment option that will give the same result. And believe me, an amputation that's done well from a technical point of view, that's very well rehabilitated, that manages to prosthetize very well. There are patients on the street who you don't even know don't have a limb, and they live very well. So I think the big question is the honesty of looking at the patient, explaining the situation to them, saying clearly, saying firmly that the best treatment for them is amputation, and then understanding that it's going to cause suffering because of our culture. But being able to talk to them, right? In my multidisciplinary team, I'm very proud to say that I have a psychologist who works with me whose doctorate was in amputations of orthopedic patients, patients who were victims of trauma, patients who were victims of infection, and she did a doctorate with these patients of ours. And it's amazing how much difference a well-done, targeted, fair, honest psychological approach that understands the patient's situation makes. When we take a multidisciplinary approach, respecting all aspects of the patient and saying it clearly, because if you don't say clearly and firmly that this is the best treatment for the amputation patient, they won't accept it because they doubt you. So when you do it firmly. You have to be convinced that this is best for your patient, that you would do it for yourself if it was your leg there. Do it with a good technique, because amputation is not a surgery to be done by the least experienced, to be done by RI. It's to be done by the most experienced in the service, the most experienced in the team, because it's a surgery with no turning back. You're going to do an amputation and you want it to heal in the best possible way, with the muscles attached in the best possible way, so that the person can rehabilitate. And you have to have a whole team to rehabilitate the patient, to refer them for the psychological treatment they need, to protect them afterwards. The results are as a rule. Much better than you might think. I've never regretted amputating someone. I've regretted when I didn't amputate. I've always said that throughout my career, I've never regretted performing a well-appointed amputation. All the patients came back, gave me a hug, and thanked me for what I had done. I got emotional with them. Because I was sure that it would be the best thing for them. That's the message. Amputation isn't defeat. Amputation isn't the end of the line. Amputation isn't what's left. Amputation isn't to be, let go. To be, abandoned, you don't have to abandon the patient. This is a procedure like any other, which has its own indication, and you have to have the utmost respect for the patient and for your surgical technique in order to do the best one for that patient. And the results are good, they're satisfactory, people come back to life, right? A big hug to you. This is the kind of video I like to see comments on afterwards, okay? If you're watching it, if you're going through a similar situation, a relative, well, write your comment, tell me what you think, tell me what your relationship was like, if you're an amputee, what it was like for you. Write it here. I like to know, and then even generate other videos helping other people, okay? Subscribe to the channel and thank you for your attention. A big hug.